what we have coming up tonight, our very first semi-final. Phil the Power Taylor, the #1 seed coming into this event against Gary Anderson, the current world champion. Then next up, we have Michael Van Gerwen, the world #1 against James the Machine Wade. Now, we touched on it earlier. James the Machine Wade, he's gotten the job done quite early in this tournament, but now he's facing Michael Van Gerwen.
Yes, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, Michael Van Gerwen is bouncing across the stage. He loves the game at the moment. He's hitting a lot of good, big scores. I mean, when he came out of the break against Roman van Barneveld, he went 11, 12, 12. They were the next 3 winning legs. Now, that's hard to hold. So James Wade, he's got to get into Michael Van Gerwen early and keep the pressure on. Don't make mistakes. When he gets a chance of the double, he's got to take it. Otherwise, Michael could run away with it.
Now, talking about our first semi-final, we've got Phil the Power Taylor up against Gary Anderson. Gary Anderson, he's the current world champion, but he actually defeated the Power to become world champion. These two have met before. They've had some titanic battles this year.
Well, in the last 8 visits against each other, it's 4 apiece. But let's not forget, in the World Series, Phil Taylor beat Anderson in Dubai and in Japan. So coming in here, and Phil Taylor won this last year, so the confidence will be with Phil Taylor. But Anderson last night got out of jail, played the wild card last night, so he's going to think he's going to be a bit lucky. But he needs to get the scoring power done, because the power, Phil Taylor, will not let him off like Adi did.
Now, talking about that, he came back into the game. He was 6-1 down. That's got to give you a bit of confidence coming into tonight.
Well, it certainly has. I mean, a few years ago, Gary Anderson would have lost that game 8-1, 8-2. But after becoming world champion, you have that confidence, you've got that air about you. And he'll be thinking that he's invincible. However, he's got to get out of the gate a lot quicker, because Phil Taylor will not let him off.
All right, well, Paul Gower caught up with Phil Taylor and Gary Anderson earlier today.
Now, that was a great match last night. How did you wind down after that?
Back to the room, get ready for tonight, be honest with you. I mean, we do it week in and week out, so yeah. It's what we do for a living, so it's the same thing every week for us. So normally, if you get through to the semis, you get back to the hotel and try and get your rest in, ready for today.
Do you review last night's match and go through anything? There's no reviews?
No, not really. I think it was nice and steady. During semi-finals and whatnot, now you can try and push on and try and up your average a little bit now. Obviously, against Gary, you've got no choice now. You've got to play. I'm not saying Kyle is a pushover, but I thought the occasion might get to him, put him under pressure. I think Gary is a little bit more experienced, and that's the only difference, really.
And preparation time, you're here early today. What does that go through? What do you do? You're 3 hours before your time?
Yeah, I'd leave for 7 o'clock. I'd leave about 3:45, get here for 4 o'clock. And then it's do stuff like this, do interviews, and then gives me an hour spare. So I'll probably do about 2 hours practice.
And when do you mentally switch on for the game? When's the time professional athletes go into the arena? When's the time when Phil switches on?
I think probably about half an hour before. They'll say, Phil, off. They'll keep giving you a time update. 1 hour to go, Phil. So all right. Half an hour, you think, all right, you're up now. I'll get you ready. So that's mainly when you start thinking about it, about half an hour before.
And playing against Gary tonight, what do you expect?
I don't know after last night. I mean, I did watch last night's game, and it was. I've never seen Adrian foul like that before. Never. And he just missed a couple of doubles, and it was weird. And Gary seemed to take advantage, and then he seemed to be under pressure a little bit. But obviously, he'll learn by that. He'll put it right. But I don't know with Gary tonight. You just don't know how he's going to play.
Well, best of luck, and we'll see you out there tonight.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
Last night, that was like modern-day gladiators. It was unbelievable. It was epic. How did you come down after that? You must have been awake for a while.
No, I just class it as a very lucky game. Eddie blew it big time. He had chances to go 7-1 up, I think. 6 missed darts, he let me in. So I just kept saying, get a couple more legs, make the score look a bit better when you get beat. And it just went to the decider, 46. He had 2 clear darts at tops, and he made a mess of it.
Well, after that, now you're ready for the semi-finals. How have you prepared today?
I've not. I have been the last few days and it's not been working, so change the tactics, sit back, put my feet up for a bit, and the luck's run out, so it's got to see how it goes tonight.
So the normal routine you go out with, you've changed that up a bit?
Yeah, I usually have a few hours practice, but I'm going to just leave it to about half an hour before I'm due to play and go and have a chuck, see if that helps.
Give that a go. Now, how do you play someone like Phil Taylor? He's so consistent, he puts pressure on. You've played him plenty of times, but how do you take it to him?
Put the pressure on him. Hopefully he misses, No, like I say, Phil's not been playing his greatest last 12, 13 months, you know, but he'll come back. He's always floating about. But like I say, I enjoy playing Phil, and I enjoy playing like Michael Van Gerwen. So we'll see. It usually fires me up a bit.
And that crowd last night, you know, if they get on your side, you know, does that pump you up?
Oh, it does. It does. Puts a bit more pressure on you because you want to win, you know. So we can only see. I'll try my best. I'll get 110%.
All right, mate. Play your best. We'll see you tonight.
Hopefully. Cheers.
Thanks, mate.
Let's get to our very first semi-final of the night. Looking to maintain his 100% record here in Perth. The number 1 seed here tonight, Phil the Power Taylor, faces current world champion Gary Anderson.
Welcome to the hottest ticketing sport, and it's coming to you from the HBF Stadium here in the great city of Perth, Australia. Down Under events proudly presents the semi-final of the Tab Touch Perth Darts Masters, all part of the PDC's World Series of Darts. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the waiting's over. Let's meet the players then. Firstly, would you please welcome from Scotland, the reigning champion of the world, the Flying Scotsman, Gary Anderson! Now, ladies and gentlemen, from Stoke-on-Trent, England, he's the reigning and defending Perth Darts Master and the record-breaking, history-making, 16 times the champion of the world. It's Phil the Power
Getting the party started behind the mics is Stuart Pike and Paul Nicholson.
Thank you. We've had 8 World Series events going back to the very first one in Dubai in 2013. 4 have been won by Phil Taylor, 4 have been won by Michael Van Gerwen. Gary Anderson will be trying to snap that record as he looks to win a World Series event for the first time. He admits he used all 7 get-out-of-jail-free cards to win the semi-final against Adrian Lewis. For Phil Taylor, far more comfortable, beating the Kiwi Craig Caldwell and, of course, the hometown boy Kyle Anderson in the quarter-finals. Anderson has the darts, first to 10 for a place in the final here in Perth.
Yeah, it was a cracker last night, wasn't it, Stu? Adrian versus Gary. It never fails to live up to the billing that we give it, and everybody thought that Adrian was going to walk it going into the break, but what did Gary do during the break? He really did what he does best, and he found something, and it was just enough.
Yeah, well, Lewis missed 2 darts to win it in the decider, but he also missed 8 darts to win it 8-1.
It's the kind of game that can haunt you for a while, but Adrian's a strong guy. And there's little Ty. Ty Anderson could be a world champion of the future. Remember that name.
Yeah, but Taylor and Anderson renewing rivalries. Anderson has won 5 out of the last 7 against Taylor in TV events, including the biggest one of all, the World Championship. But the 2 defeats have come in the World Series in Dubai and in Japan, and at this stage, both in the semi-finals. Convincingly, Taylor winning in Dubai. He won a last leg decider in Japan. Anderson led 7-6 and Taylor won 8-7.
I don't think that's the kind of thing that plagues Gary going into these kind of events. If there's a little bit of a repeat of history, he likes to break history as opposed to remember the defeats. So I think Gary's got a really strong mind these days and a lot of confidence after winning a couple of majors. So I don't think that'll plague him, but he started pretty well in this leg. He's under a bit of pressure though. 83. 51 was the target. 66. Bullseye for the first leg for Anderson. A little bit away. So Phil got 46.
But he's put the pressure on again, hasn't he?
Just like last night.
Yeah, from 160, 70, 80 out, he's put the pressure on. This would be for an early break.
There it is, Phil 1 up, and he's been pretty good in that bottom left corner. He has had weakness there over the last few years, but I think he's starting to fix that. Interestingly enough as well, Phil using a slightly different coloured flight tonight, and you don't see him change anything mid-tournament almost ever. So for him to use a completely different colour flight, there must be a reason for that.
97. Oh, good last dart. Anderson will be disappointed because he was really in control of that opening leg and left himself short, didn't he, at the end? But we know what he can do. Explode into action. To come from 6-1 down to win against Adrian Lewis was some feat. I mean, it really should have been game over.
It really should have been game over. I think modern professional dart players, if you give them one match dart, they think they should win the match. It's as simple as that. You don't get more than one chance on a lot of occasions, so if you get that chance, you usually take it. If you don't, you think about it, yes you do, but it's the strength in mind that you take from that into your next game as to whether it haunts you or not. No worries for Gary though. He got a match dart and definitely hit it. I wonder if he'll get any match darts in this match.
97. Well, Taylor, of course, the defending champion here in Perth, beat Michael van Gerwen in a terrific final 12 months ago. 11-9 it was, as Anderson chases the first maximum. You just knew, didn't you, before he let go of that third dart where it was going to go.
Taylor's got a Shane Burgess shot. 167. Very, very close. So 99 leaves 68. Anderson coming back for 81. A very good leg from Gary here. But to finish it off, he's got double 12. Double 6 now.
The first dart was really good, just it short, but you can't afford to do that. He knows it. It's been a really good leg. He was a millimetre away from an 11 darter. He may find himself 2 down.
He certainly might. Phil, with that look in his eye, is going to get 2 shots at double 4 potentially. Only needs one of them. Phil looking ruthless tonight. Maybe the colour of the flight is good for him.
Well, Anderson missed the dart at the bull by a long way, to be fair, in the opening leg. And he's angry. And you know, you can tell with Anderson when he gets furious with the way he's playing. And normally, it helps him when he gets annoyed. But those 2 darts he missed at double 12 and double 6 could be crucial. Well, anything you can do, Gary?
Anything Gary can do, Phil can match it. But this is warming up nicely, isn't it, Stuart? I mean, last night's game with Adrian was a classic. We thought it would be, and it turned out that way. But this one really just, they look like they want to beat each other up.
Well, Anderson will never forget the double 12 that he landed at the Alexandra Palace on the 4th of January 2015 to fulfil his darting destiny when he beat Taylor to win that epic world final, 7-6 in sets, and a deserved world champion, a popular world champion. And he went on, of course, to claim the Premier League title as well back in May.
Absolutely, and he had an incredible homecoming every time he's played an exhibition match in Scotland since.
Look at that, another 140 from Taylor. Look what he's left himself, 85, treble 18.
Gary loves that way for 161. He likes the freedom of the 57 and the 54. But 85 for Phil, looking good tonight. He really does look good tonight. Went for treble 19 for double 14. 78 there. Not going to get a shot on this occasion. So Anderson really has to pull this out.
Cannot afford to miss this time, Gary. One dart at tops. Well done. Under pressure, Anderson finally nails the double. It could be 3 up if he'd hit the lot. But he's trailing Taylor 2-1, and Taylor has that all-important break of throw.
He definitely could be 3 up, but a good counter punch from Gary there, so he gets him back in the mix. But Taylor vitally has that break, so in order to get back in this match, Gary is going to have to break Philip Taylor. Interestingly, Stu, earlier on in the practice room, some of the guys were talking about rhythm of throw, which is becoming a very big topic right now. If you look at the likes of Van Gerwen and the likes of Anderson and Barneveld, the one thing that they're actually focusing on right now more than anything else is the rhythm of throws to get some repetitiveness, especially in their scoring zones.
Well, that's pretty good rhythm from Philip Taylor.
Gary of old used to have a very deliberate action, but nowadays he's, he aims on the first dart and then he has a lot more fluidity for the second and third darts. And look what he's done since he started to employ that tactic. He's become world champion. He's again a Premier League champion, and he's in the World Series of Darts like he is tonight. Definitely competing and not out of this game by any means.
Impressive numbers from both players. 100. Anderson leaving a finish. But it's a big finish. Taylor here will no doubt leave this very handy.
I remember at the Grand Slam in 2008, Gary having a 1-3-4 and hitting treble 18 tops, one of the best finishes I've ever seen as a professional. So he might have to do it again here with a 140 for 61st. Is he going to go tops? No, he went for the 60. It was a great lie.
He was unlucky, to be fair. He little flick off the flight. Misdirection. Now hoping Taylor misses.
Gary definitely wants to perform tonight. You can just see that little bit of anger in his eyes. But Taylor, 84, double 12 it is for 3-1. Awkward. Only word for it. Got to go to the right.
72.
Fails to do so. That was probably the worst dart Phil could throw to block the bed. But Anderson now, double 4. To break. In it goes, so it's 2-2. Game on, boys.
Living up to all expectations. Taylor and Anderson had some right royal battles over the last 12 months. It's the World Championship final. Anderson also beat Taylor at the World Cup of Darts convincingly in the final, in the singles, although Taylor and Adrian Lewis won the tournament for England. And we remember the Players' Championship finals all the way back last November at Minehead,
100.
when Anderson beat Taylor for the first time in a long time in a knockout TV event, and that gave him the confidence and the belief which took him to the Alexandra Palace for the World Championship.
Precisely. I think the momentum has been a very big thing for Gary's career over the last 12 months. After that defeat to Michael Van Gerwen at the World Championships, he famously said, only time I've ever lost sleep over a darts match was that one. And since then, he's been a different Gary Anderson, and a better Gary Anderson.
136.
Brilliant standard. Taylor 107, Anderson 104. Already had 4 180s.
Anderson definitely lifting his game from the previous parts of the tournament. Averaging mid-90s coming into this match, but lifting his average by nearly 10 and putting Phil under more pressure than anybody else has in this tournament so far. Phil way back on 219 at this point, and Gary, with his throw, doing what he needs to do, leaving 2 darters after not many shots at the treble 20.
Double 12 to go ahead for the first time.
48.
Well, the double one in the World Championship, will he pay a price?
Phil's got 100 more than Gary has, but he still has 3 darts in hand. Can he utilise this? Treble 18, only shot he can go for here. Treble 18 it is, bullseye for a breakback straight away. Very close. So Gary coming back for double 12.
24.
Yeah, no problem on the double 6. He was 2-0 down. The world champ hits the front. 3 consecutive legs for Gary Anderson. This could go all 19 legs, you know.
It really could, Stuart. The way this game is going at this point, it's toing and froing. And this is what dart players and dart fans want to see. They want to see great tussles. They want to see missed doubles, and they want to see hit ones as well.
Well, in the quarterfinals against Kyle Anderson, Paul Nicholson posed the question. Phil Taylor has now dropped down to number 3 in the world. When was the last time that he wasn't number 1 or number 2 in the world of darts in the PDC rankings? Well, my thanks to Andy Scott, the PDC statistician, and also Richard Ashdown, our spotter here in Perth, for coming up with the answer. November 2004, the last time that Taylor was outside the top 2 in the world. And I wonder if you can guess who was world number 1 and who was world number 2 back in November 2004. We'll give you a little time to think over that. Give the answer in a minute. But Phil Taylor was world number 3 11 years ago since he was last outside the top 2. That's amazing.
Are you trying to crash Twitter, Stuart? I think Google's about to go mad. There was a good response from that question last night, and people were genuinely interested. But what we need to take into consideration is that Phil Taylor has been in the top 2 for 11 years.
But also back then, when he was outside of the world's top 2, it was ranking points, not an order of merit based on money. But Taylor here, not thinking about money, he's thinking about winning the leg. Terrific from Taylor. This is a really good game. Taylor, when he needed to most, Anderson was waiting, wasn't he?
You get the feeling that Philip has been working on that corner. If he has had a weakness at all, so you're seeing there another 180 from Gary, which is definitely not his weakness. If Phil has had a weakness over the last couple of years, it has been that corner. And he looks as sharp as he can be on that particular corner tonight. So if he's leaving 32, you expect him to hit it. Sometimes you feel that certain games just have an aura about them. This one has something tonight that is just purely professional. They're playing for money, they're playing for points, rankings in the World Series table. These guys want to beat each other, they really do.
It's personal as well. You know, they get on, and they may well practice together, and they'll have a laugh and a joke, but this is personal, because when it's really mattered over the past 12 months, Anderson's had Taylor's number. Taylor knows that, Anderson knows that.
Yeah, I think Phil's one of those guys. He's like Michael Van Gerwen in a lot of respects. He just is a winner in every single respect. And let's face it, Gary's been putting his hand in Phil's pack of crisps for the last 12 months, and he doesn't like that.
Oh, great double 18 for the Scot. How about that, Gary Anderson? Brilliant 1-2-1 finish. The world champ needs business. Phil Taylor will have it all to do if he wants to hold on to his title here in Perth. Brilliant semi-final, and we've only had 7 legs. Race to 10. Anderson leads 4-3. Finals night here at the Perth Darts Masters, and the world champion with his nose in front against Phil Taylor. We've seen some terrific darts already. Taylor averaging 101.5, Anderson averaging 102. But the Scot, from 2-0 down, has hit the front thanks to a brilliant 1-2-1 finish just before the break. First to 10, still to come. Michael van Gerwen against James Wade, and then our final a little later on. If you fancy some more darts in Sydney next Thursday, Friday and Saturday, that's how you can get tickets. Well, before the break we were talking about Phil Taylor being out of the world's top 2. There's Gary Anderson's biggest fan, his little boy Ty. November 2004, when Taylor was last outside the top 2 in the world. Back then, the world number 1 was Colin Lloyd, and the world number 2 was Peter Manley.
Peter Manley indeed. Colin Lloyd, a made a champion around those times. He won the Grand Prix and the World Match Play. One of a very small breed of players to win PDC majors, and an even smaller list who have won those particular tournaments.
The only reason Paul Nicholson brought up PDC majors because he's won one.
Got to have some bragging rights.
And I'll take my £10 later for mentioning it.
Thank you very much.
$10.
That's $20 over here. 10 quid. Well, we're on through here. We're on through here, aren't we?
It is, yeah. It's a select band of players to win TV events. And you think that how many Phil Taylor has won in his decades of domination? Not so. Of late, he's won World Series events, but Taylor hasn't won a TV major ranking event since the World Match Play last year. He won the Grand Slam in Wolverhampton, but he hasn't won a big ranking event since Blackpool 2014.
Do we dare ask another question of the public in saying when was the last time that Philip Taylor went a full calendar year without a major title on TV ranked?
Oh, Anderson. Well, unlucky.
I think he fancied that, Stuart. I really do after that first start.
I agree.
Double 16 for Taylor. Right in the middle again. He really has been working on that corner. It's very evident now. It's not a weakness anymore, that's for certain. Anderson looking to go straight back in, and he does. It's 4-all and on throw. If you're going to keep your throw, that's the way to start legs.
Giving referee Russ Bray another chance to exercise the old tonsils.
32.
2 referees out here for the World Series, Russ Bray and George Noble. Both highly respected, of course.
Interestingly enough, in the break last night when Adrian was 6-1 up, I was reliably informed from Gary Wood, who was one of the chokers on stage. I was standing to stage left and he said, do you want to know what Gary's just done? He said 180, 170, 180, 170, and that was just before they started again. That's phenomenal.
This is pretty good. 2 180s in the leg. 5 in the match for Anderson. Taylor is on Anderson's coattails, isn't he?
171.
This is a pretty good leg, isn't it? He's going to have to hit this 81 now. He's going to have to go 12 or double 13. Beautiful rhythm and a great shot from Gary Anderson to hold through, and Phil put on the pressure once more.
Game on.
One word for that. Class. Terrific semi-final. 5-4. Taylor 106 average. Anderson 105 average.
Good to see that both players lifting their average for finals night. This could be one special evening. And this is only the first of 3 World Series events in 3 weeks. These guys have actually had a break over the last couple of weeks. What are they going to be like in the next couple of weeks with some real match practice? Scary thought.
They mean business.
96.
Interesting to see that Gary's wearing earplugs tonight.
59.
Maybe as a direct result of what happened with the Adrian Lewis game. There was a little bit of controversy at the end. He looks in the zone, whether he's got those plugs in or not. Very focused player these days.
140.
It's funny to see Phil Taylor annoyed with a 140. You just know that when he has the 2 darts in the bottom of the 60, he wants nothing but a 180.
Phil, we require 131.
Famous shot for Phil. He won a world title with this one. Not on this occasion. He's going to set it up. Looking at 19. Favouring double 16 now as opposed to using the 11. Very interesting.
How much pressure will Taylor be under?
98. Phil, we require 32.
He's been lethal on double 16 so far.
Game shot at
That'll do. It's 5 apiece.
Interesting, when he missed it for the first time, he didn't flinch. It was enough to the left to give him a clear sight for the second shot.
115.
There is such a thing as a good miss sometimes. As you saw with the double 12 earlier, it was too close. So on this occasion, being a centimetre to the left gave him enough room to guide it in.
140.
This really is a brilliant game of darts. These are the kind of games that everybody wants to see.
23.
Just perfect example there. In the first visit to the board, Anderson drifted into the 1, then hit 2 treble 19s. He did the same there and came back with 2 treble 20s. But there's all 3 for Taylor. And again, as he ups the average to 109, this is when he wants to do it, against the darts,
84.
against the throw.
Remember the days when 100 average would win you every game?
Yep.
Doesn't happen anymore, folks. You've got 109 and 105 at the moment, which is somewhere between 14 and 13 darts a leg.
100.
Well, low 90s was winning world championships. Brilliant from Anderson.
137.
Will he get a dart and a double? Taylor here looking at 81 for an 11 darter to break through. Big moments in this semi-final.
Huge moment in this particular match. Double 12, double 6. He's under pressure. He gets it. Big moment in this match. Big break for Philip Taylor.
12 leg field to throw first.
What's Gary got in reply? We're about to find out.
He's left himself a 2 darter. A 12 darter from Taylor gets the job done.
Well, great matches. You see everybody being put under pressure all the time. If you look at this match leg by leg, everybody's under pressure every leg. And you know, Phil's been on 2 darters and doubles, and Gary's taking it out, and vice versa. This is a brilliant match.
Again, great adjustment from Anderson. You'll be a little worried. Last couple of legs. Too many darts going into 1 and 5 again, but his recovery on the treble 20 has been excellent.
Sometimes you don't mind the odd 1 in the 5 or the 1 because you do have to set up for a double at some point, but he'd rather have 140s just for his own confidence as opposed to 121s and 125s.
Only 3 140s from Anderson, 5 maximums.
59.
59 isn't enough. Chance for Taylor to win 3 consecutive legs here. But for me, that 11th leg, is that going to be a turning point? Is it going to be the turning point?
I have a funny feeling you could be right, Stuart.
100.
When Phil gets in front, he's pretty hard to peg back. But we're talking about 2 of the most successful dart players of all time on that stage. Gary can draw on a lot of experience. Another 180 will help.
If anyone can get back at Taylor, it's Gary Anderson.
Oh, he's got the bullseye. He's not going to go. He's going to play the tactical shot.
Gary, you require 137.
Wow.
57 first. Oh, Gary wanted to do that and see. He shouldn't do that against me.
Yeah.
59.
And instead, it's actually knocked Anderson out of his stride. It did have an effect on the Scot, didn't it?
It certainly did. Double 16 again. Absolutely brutal on double 16 tonight.
5 out of 6 on double 16. As Anderson hits a 7th. 180. 109 average Taylor, nigh on 107 average for Anderson.
If you look at that third dart of Gary's, that was the equivalent of hitting a very angry drive after making a bogey on the previous hole. There was a lot of aggression in that dart. It actually pierced both darts and went through the middle. Try that at home, folks. That's not easy.
Terrific semi-final. Michael van Gerwen against James Wade, still to come.
A lot of people tipping Michael van Gerwen before this night started. Talking to a lot of guys, the referees, the fans. Everybody was tipping that Michael van Gerwen was the favourite. But on these figures, 110 average for Taylor, 107 for Gary. These are really, really good performances. Whoever comes through this titanic battle is definitely going to give Michael or James a fantastic game in this final.
Gotta go, double 12. Oh, again, he's missed the double 12. He's a long way off. Well, is this the game? Is this the game, I wonder? This for another break of throw.
I really think Gary thought that double 12 was in. There was a little lean after he threw it. Out of his rhythm going for the double 6, and he was a little further away than he would like. 81 for Taylor, double 12 for 8-5. Not as awkward as the one before, down below it.
57.
Not to be, and Philip knows how important that was to have that double break.
Well, that's the worst possible lie. The first dart made it virtually impossible for Gary there.
Well, he had to go over the top of a dart that was lying upwards, and that's extremely difficult to do. He could probably see about a third of the bed. Double 12 for Taylor. Gets a second chance at double 12, and it is 8-5.
Well, Anderson has only got himself to blame. Taylor's won 4 consecutive legs. The Scot led 5-4 after hitting a terrific 12-dart leg, which included 2 180s.
He likes playing in Australia, doesn't he, Phil Taylor? Won a lot of titles here.
Well, over the years, we've had 2 in Sydney, 1 in Perth. Taylor's won them all. Every World Series event we've had in Australia, Phil Taylor has won them.
Australian Open champion 2012, beating Simon Whitlock, I believe, in that final.
Anderson will be ruining missed opportunities at important times in this semi-final. His scoring has been excellent. 106 average, but only 29% on the doubles, 5 out of 17.
84.
And that's the reason that Taylor is in front. Look at that, 8 out of 15. He has really picked up on his finishing in this World Series event. Is Taylor going to beat Gary Anderson in the semi-finals of the World Series of Darts for a 3rd consecutive tournament? Did it in Dubai, he did it in Japan, and he's 2 legs away from victory here.
Phil's love for playing in Australia is definitely evident tonight. He looks about as focused as I've seen him for quite a long time. 161 for Gary. Just about to see if he's going to do what he did last night to Adrian and come back from the dead. He had to hit that.
Tops he needs. Double 10. It's 5 legs on the spin. Taylor 1 away. 9-5 in front. Well, let's be honest, we didn't see this coming, did we? We thought the way that both players were playing that this would go all the way. It may yet, but there's 5 legs left and Gary's got to win the lot. He came from 6-1 down to win a deciding leg against Adrian Lewis, but this is a different player, a different animal in Phil Taylor. 110 Taylor's average now after his 4th 180.
Well, Phil's put in a spurt here of fantastic darts. Gary's still trying. but he's going to have to be perfect from here on in. He started the leg well. He's got the impetus in this 15th leg. He's going to have to do it all the way to the end now.
Well, the 11th leg for me was key when Taylor managed to break the Anderson throw and Anderson was on a finish. And that is the leg for me that's turned the game. But then Gary missing those 5 darts at doubles in leg 13 as well. Really gifting Taylor a big advantage in this semi-final.
Sometimes you feel that players do have a little bit of white line fever. You just don't get that feeling with Phil.
82.
Not on this occasion. He looks focused. He looks like he knows he's got one leg to go. Gary very disappointed with that. Looks a little bit resigned to defeat at this point. Just needs to take a deep breath and think, if Phil doesn't take this 139, I'm still in this match.
Anderson will be hugely disappointed.
59.
He's got a chance.
Gary require 117.
Takes good shots like this. Not on this occasion. That could have been the catalyst for something very, very special. But Phil has 80 to find himself in the Perth Darts Masters final. Single 20 again. Lovely lie. Open bed, tops for 10-5 in the victory. And it's there! He beats Anderson with a 108 average. A brilliant, brilliant performance.
Yeah, for a 3rd consecutive World Series event in 2015. Phil Taylor beats Gary Anderson in the semi-finals. 10-5. He won 6 consecutive legs from 5-4 down. Coming up, Michael Van Gerwen and James Wade in our 2nd semi-final. But Taylor, on this performance, will take some beating.
Well, Phil the Power Taylor stepped up to the Yoki in the mood tonight. He opened, securing 2 legs on the trot, putting all the pressure on the current world champion, Gary Anderson. But as we've seen here in Perth, he's very capable of a fight back. 2-0 down, Gary fought right back into it, taking the lead. But the number 1 seed broke back yet again, winning 6 consecutive legs, running away with it. The final result, 10-5. Phil the Power Taylor, the very first semi-finalist here in Perth. That was an unbelievable round there. Talk me through the stats.
Well, there were 2 players at the top of their game, and when Phil Taylor went 5-4 down, Gary Anderson was really doing it. But as you can see, from leg 10, Phil Taylor stepped up his average by about 5 points to actually go to 110 average. I mean, Gary Anderson's average at 104.5 nearly is absolutely brilliant, and the 180's 8, he won that. But it was Phil Taylor. Look at the percentage on the doubles. 56% that Phil Taylor had on the doubles to 29% on Gary Anderson. That's where the game was won or lost.
He really did. He really did turn the screws there to get himself the win. Let's get some reaction now. He's with Paul Gow.
Another final for Phil Taylor.
Thank you very much, Paul. I'm over the moon against Gary. It was a tough match. It was a really tough match.
Yeah, it started tough, but then you pulled away. When did you think you had that?
2-0 up, and then he came back to 2 each. I thought I blew it, to be honest with you. I missed doubles, and he went in there. And it was always going to be, I just said to Gary there, it was always going to be a game of doubles between me and you. Scoring's never going to be far apart. It was all a game of doubles, and I think the double 3 killed him.
You said this afternoon that your average had to go up. It did.
It did, 108 now. I've just been looking. He's got to do, you know, you've got to push forward now, and then against the final, probably move it up to about 109, 110.
Now, you changed your flight on your darts tonight. Why was that?
Bob did it. Big Bob over there. No Crocodile Dundee's got Donk.
Right.
I've got Bob. He just put the camera on him. He looks a bit like Donk as well. Now, he sorts everything out. It's my sponsor's flights, target, sorry, and then they just don't want me these different flights, and I'm just trying different things, trying to improve.
Well, they worked, didn't they? Does it matter who you play in the final?
Do you know, I'm going to tip Michael, but James is playing superb at the minute, so it could be anybody really. I don't really, no, not bothered.
Is there a game plan to that, or you just keep doing what you're doing?
Go out and bash him. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Go out, score, and finish. Just lately against the pros, it's all about finishing. You miss your doubles. I miss my doubles in Blackpool. You get beat. Simple as.
All right, you go and throw those doubles, Phil.
It's got to be a complete game now.
Thanks, mate.
He really is unbelievable. There you go. So this is exactly where we are right now. The very first semi-final spot has been nabbed just then by Phil the Power Taylor, and really is up to see a match between Michael Van Gerwen and James Wade to see who is going to be facing Phil Taylor in the final.